Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to what I think one of the most interesting sessions organized by the World Green Economy Organization. We are at day 8 at COP28. I hope none of us is feeling COP fatigue yet. My name is Karim Refat. I am the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Engage Group. We're a public policy and government affairs management agency. I think I'm the wrong choice to moderate this panel because the title of this panel is The Next Generation. I am personally from this generation. I'm not from the next generation. But I will try to introduce people who at least I am sure know better about the next generation in their different capacities, and they know more than I do about digital and green. And as any intelligent man, I will allow myself to start with introducing the lady on the panel, Raya Mikawi, Regional Leader, Middle East and Africa, Sustainability, and Global Social Responsibility Lead at 3M. Dr. Isa El-Bastaki, honoring us today, President of Dubai University. Balaji Nagabushan, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, sir. Group Chief Administrative Officer of TriStar. And last but not least, Christopher Lelem, Head of Global Key Customer Management, Supply Chain and Product Assurance at DNV. So we are talking today about several components of a one-titled panel that is extremely challenging as far as sustainability is concerned. We're talking about how to prepare the next generation. So this morning we had the exchange with youth, and we know it's very difficult to convince the youth that we know more than they do to be able to prepare them. So that's in itself is a challenge. And we're talking about how to combine between digital and green, two key cornerstones of going sustainable or going green. So I will allow myself to again start with the lady, and I will ask each and every one of you please to tell us about his or her institutions or company, and what are you currently doing in that space of green and digital and sustainability. Raya, the floor is yours.
So thank you so much for having me here with the distinguished panel, and I believe it's a very important topic, especially that COP28 has put youth as one of the most focused areas as they are introducing the Conference of Parties for this year. So I work for 3M, as you have introduced me, and I believe that you are never more than 3 meters far from any 3M product or technology. So 3M is a science-based, purpose-driven company. And these are two important areas that you will hear me talking a lot about, science and purpose, as we are empowering the new generation. So we have framed our sustainability framework based on science. So you see us implementing science in circular, where we advance on circular economy. We apply science in climate, where our products are meant to help you solve a social or an environmental problem, like, for example, our masks, respirators, to help patients, workers, and everyone to breathe normally. And we have experienced that during the pandemic and the COVID. And other products to help you reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, which is very important while we are driving the climate action topic. The last part of our sustainability framework, which is science for community. And here where we come to apply science to advance communities, especially the unprivileged and the vulnerable ones, as well as the new generation. So briefly, because I can elaborate during the next questions, how we implement STEM education, the science, technology, engineering, and math at the early as 7 years old students, because we believe that sustainability should be normalized from very early stages, as well as help shape behaviors and create new habits. Then definitely can elaborate on this.
Thank you very much, Diraya. I'll move on to Dr. Bastaki. حضرتك, you are the president of Dubai University, but if I can go on and try to enumerate the other hats that you carry on, we'll run through the totality of the session. So I will not do that. I understand you're taking the leadership on the youth chapter with the World Green Economy Organization. Being a doctor, being a professor, being a chairman of the university is in my view a noble goal, because you're all about creating the right impact by delivering the right tools and skills to the right people, which is the strongest tool we have to do sustainability are actually the people. So can you tell us more about the different programs or the different sectors of focus that you manage in Dubai University in this area of digital and green and sustainability?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon to all of you. I think I need to clarify a little bit. I think this session is important because we are looking at education and how to develop the skills. If you look at any educational system, so I'm talking about higher education, you look at it depends on 7 main pillars, which is academic, teaching, research, and business development, put an underline on the word B, and 3, community service, 4, the triple helix, which is partnership between the government and the industry and academia, and then innovation, internationalization, and last but not the least, lifelong learning. Lifelong learning means that you need to make sure that the student that graduates will have that culture in himself or herself to continuously grow in all senses, in the knowledge, in the skills. It is something that changes as it goes on. What are the outcomes of these 7 pillars? You get nicely a degree, academic degree. You get a professional certificate, that's University of Dubai. Then you start a startup, so you graduate a startup from the university because there is an innovation hub. And then there is the lifelong learning and soft skills. These are 5 things you take from the University of Dubai. University of Dubai mainly focuses on the objectives of Dubai Chambers. They serve the business community at large. So what we do, we serve the business community again, but in a different way. We have Dubai Business College, bachelor's, master's, PhD. We have College of Law, bachelor's and master's. We have College of Engineering and IT, we have bachelor's and master's. So we are trying to make sure that whatever we do, we are graduating the people that will have an impact on the business sector. And I'm underlining always the business sector. Without the development of the economy, nothing will go through. You talk about climate change, you talk about greening. If it doesn't coincide or doesn't go hand in hand with economic development and prosperity, it will not work. There's no future for us. So all these we should take care of once we look at how we educate our students until they graduate.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'll move on to Balaji, and in our discussion prior to the panel, I just learned that you do not only are you trying to address sustainability as a company and green and digital, but your company is doing a noble goal. You are servicing, if I understood you correctly, you're trying to bring fuel, lubricants, and some services to whatever UN peacekeeping operations exist. So that's really a noble goal, and on top of that, you're going to tell us how you do that in a green and digital way, or how are you trying to do that in a green and digital way?
Thank you. TriStar was born 25 years ago. It's a Dubai-based company. I think right from that time, it's not just a company which is looking at profits. They look at sustainability, we look at purpose, and we serve the communities where we operate in. So when we are talking about Africa, the first time we stepped into, I think it was in the year 2009. I have been in this company for 8 years, but I've learned the history of the organization. 2009, from then till now, I think we're creating employment for people over there. That is very important. And not only that, I think because of that employment, you have a lot of families whom we take care of. And then we have schools in Africa whom we support. So when we are talking about supporting schools, is not just helping people get into education, we actually go into what is the enhancement we can do. Like recently, we have introduced computer education for children because our boss believes, our superior believes that in some places in the world, it's better to equip them with education rather than guns, because children nowadays are either born with mobiles, technology, or in some places they're born with guns, which is into violence. So rather than that, you educate them, you help them move forward. I think technology is something which we support. In terms of what you call as ESG in the organization, because it has been an organization built for purpose, we have a strong team which takes care of whatever ESG we do. And environment is something which we look into. We participate in all the programs. We ensure that education is there and youngsters are most welcome into the organization to learn. And in terms of digital technology, we are into quite a few enhancements which we are coming up with. One of them is the blockchain, which we have done. And then as we move on, I think sustainability is the core of our business.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, of course, Christopher from the NV. I would tend to say, from what you described to me, we all tend to overlook or simplify the job that you guys are doing. You're into product assurance, you're into product specifications. You are the safety for so many of us using so many different good products, making sure they're safe. But I understand now you're trying to also make sure they're green and they're digital. So tell us more about that.
Thank you very much. And thanks for the World Green Economy Organization for having the opportunity to be here among the distinguished panelists. Yes, I represent DNV, and we are a foundation since 1864. Our core purpose is safeguarding life, property, and the environment. So we focus on safety, security, and health and sustainability in what we do. I believe within our sector and focus, we are very good in pioneering digital tools and digital solutions in making ourselves work better on projects with clients, but also enable clients to use new digital solutions going forward. And as a professional service firm, we rely a lot on our people in the organization. So we have about 13,000. Majority are engineers and consultants. And for them to create value for our clients, they need to have the green skills and they need to have digital skills. So it's very important when they come from university that they are equipped and have the right skill set to address client opportunities and also resolve challenges for clients. So let me also say that youth empowerment is really dear and close to my heart. 12 years ago, we did a youth empowerment event on a global community, bringing everyone together on the non-formal education setup, where we believe that really an open mind to learn. And I'm also, like the president of the university mentioned before, a true believer in lifelong learning. I'm a chapter leader for my own university, and I recommend anyone who have graduated to keep follow up with whatever university they've graduated from and stay true to the learning. So that would be my.
Thank you very much. I'll move on. I'll go back to Dr. Bastaki, if you allow me, Your Excellency. You told us a lot how you're trying to organize and shape the education system or the learning system for the students. Do you think that in this part of the world we have succeeded already on this, if I may use ESG, let's take the E of education. Have we succeeded in making the education about greening and about digital and about sustainability exciting and desired enough by the young students? Is that a practice that people come to a lot and they're excited about?
Well, I think this is the best question you asked me, because we are green in general, University of Dubai. If I tell you what we are doing, we set an example for the world, not only for Dubai. But before we go into that, you see, technology is a tool. Technology is a tool. And our goal when we are teaching the students is to love to learn. I call it L to L. Once student loves to learn, the student will learn. How will he or she love to learn? If you have the right character and you have the right tools. The tools are the technology. We need to speak their language in order for them to learn. So technology is a main important point for delivering our education to the students. If you look into greening the world, it's I can't say it, but a disaster is coming soon in 50 to 100 years. And believe me, what's happening is not normal. If you don't act today we mean all of us. There was a nice sentence written in Dubai airport that every person is a stakeholder of this sustainability. Every person. It's not about public sector, private sector, finance sector, education, whatever you talk about, industrial sector, it is at the end, it is every entity, every person, every organization, every institution, they have to work hard to make sure that we are going to be sustainable even after 100 years. Why am I saying so? Mr. Steele said that people think that our goal is 1.5 degrees, as it was in Paris COP21 in 2015. He's saying that I don't think that 1.5 is where it is. It's 3. We are worried it could go to 3 degrees. And if it goes to 3 degrees, believe me, all those coastal areas will sink and drown. At University of Dubai, we have a center called Center for Future Studies, and we have a scenario lab. We look at all these problems of the future and build scenarios on them. We have that scenario. If it happens, we have the solution for it. So it's very important to look at this problem, the climate change, the atmospheric pollution, the ground pollution, the earth pollution, the sea pollution. All these are affecting the lives, affecting so many things in the world. We at University of Dubai, since I think 7, 8, 9 years, we were one of the signatories of PRME, which is called PRIME. And this is Principles of Responsible Management Education. And this was done through the UN Compact. We were the first signatories. They have many principles, right? They have purpose, they have models, they have values, they have research, and they have I forgot, but they have 6 of these principles, and they all deal with either education or sustainability. And we in the University of Dubai, most of the courses, we have embedded in them the details of sustainability in all senses. We don't want a net zero energy. We're not a net zero only. Because net zero energy means that the energy that's been dissipated, it's green. But what about the other actions, the waste, and so many other things? So we need to look at net zero and not net zero energy. It's a very small part of the big problem will be in the future. Then we also are a member of World Green Economy Organization and the Academia and Youth Platform. So we are deep into it. The technology that's coming, you all know that technology is a problem of all the pollution in the world. Technology created the pollution, and technology will solve the pollution also. Solve the problem at the end. Technology made the industries to build more, faster, quicker, and it has a lot of waste, it has a lot of emissions of all kinds of methane, CFC, CO2, all of these. They created that, but now we are looking at technology should solve that problem, and it will. And universities nowadays, they're looking at a smart education or smart disruptive education. This means that in the future, it will be a personal education. You don't need to drive your car to go to study, so you're saving some gas or something, right? So every technology being done in the future, the metaverse, the avatars, these are all part of taking care of the global cleaning, the global greening. So yes, the technology will solve the future, and education will be from anywhere, at any time, from any student to any professor, based on ICT, strong infrastructure. This means that everything is personal. I can learn from wherever I am. I could be in a beach and swimming, come back and sit down on sand and learn something. So I could finish not in 4 years, in 1 year, my degree. I could finish high school in 9 years instead of 12 years. All these are part of that greening, are part of that sustainability endeavors to make sure that our grandchildren will live well, even though there is a problem of happening, we have to take care of it. I have still more, but I think I'll stop.
Thank you very much, dear doctor. If you allow me, I will move to my S of ESG, not the social, but I'll move to an S of systems, of S of standards, of S of synchronization between the different parts of the world. And I would like to ask the same question to the 4 of you, please. And when we talk systems, standards, synchronization, and so on, I just realized yesterday that this is the 4th COP that an Arab country hosts. So we've had one in Morocco, one in Qatar, one in Egypt, and today very, very well executed in the UAE. Have we taken our fair share of saying our voice on the systems and the standards, on the synchronization, or are we still being the victim of system standards being built out there in Europe or in the North and then being given or shipped to us? And I'll start by Christopher on that one, if I may.
We like you bring up standards. That's what we do. We work with global standards. We believe the standards are a way to level the playing field and also to compare, benchmark companies, also allowing companies to adhere to different standards. There are a variety of standards for safety and sustainability, and these are guiding tools and frameworks for companies to improve continuously towards sustainability goals. That being said, standards are made in global contexts such as ISO, and those are available and can be accessed from anyone in the world that are in these working groups. I have tried to be in one myself. It is a global type of technical committee. Then there are European frameworks for compliance, for market access, and there are certainly in many countries local requirements. We are a notified body for example, construction product regulation. That means that we can provide conformity attestations and assessments for products in construction. We are a notified body for medical device. So for the medical device regulation, we are trusted to provide the certification that they are compliant to that. That is to protect the people, the patients. Will it be fully harmonized on a global level? That will definitely create easier dynamics for manufacturers. But there are even within Europe, I have also familiarity with things that are not even harmonized within Europe. So the world of standards is a very complex one. And it should have a big public interest because it affects the products that we surround us with and the companies we do business with.
Thank you. Raya, before you answer, Raya, please, I want to ask you, do you see standards, two things, do you see standards being an enabler or potentially a conditioning or a technical barrier to trade in some of your products? And do you see the evolution, are we starting to see standards and criteria for calling a product green or digital? Are we starting to see certain conditions?
Most certainly.
Sorry, no, both of you, it's okay. It's okay. If you have an answer, you will save her. It's okay.
There are certain standards when it comes to product carbon footprint, for example, or life cycle assessment. So there are ISO standards for that, ISO 14040 or ISO 14067, that are guiding on how to interpret product environmental attributes. So that being said, these are ways to review a product, but there are also companies that are stating things without having done the review, and they can be subject to greenwashing. And there will be regulations and requirements that will say if you are putting a claim on your product, you must be able to substantiate it. And that gives, of course, work for a company such as ours.
Okay, right.
Yeah, thank you so much. And definitely I agree with all what the gentlemen have mentioned, and especially with the doctor. Maybe I need to revise this recording just to take notes of many points you have mentioned, and of course I will comment on. But maybe to your question, please, yeah, regulations and policies are definitely important. Now for 3M, where the importance will come, now locally, maybe we don't manufacture products, but we import from mainly the US and Europe, which are very high regulated markets. So when the local market is regulated, will help us maybe speak to our customers differently. When we say this product will help you reduce energy because it reflects the sun heat in a certain percent, and the market help us with the regulations, they will definitely buy the product that will speak the same language of the policies. And number one. Now, number two, maybe back to the doctor's point around the responsibility of every stakeholder, and maybe an individual responsibility as well. Here we call for a holistic approach. because when you want the government, private sector, academia, all to come together, you need also policymakers. So you need to bring them all together to understand how businesses function, why we need to regulate certain sectors, certain areas, and how the community also is prepared. We cannot even surprise the community and not have them ready to, like when they have imposed, for example, the ban on the single plastic use. Definitely they will not ban it at once. At first there will be at a certain charge, then they have increased the charge. You will see people taking their own reusable bag to the supermarket to shop, and from next year it will be banned. So you need that steady, if I would say, and to implement it gradually, bring in the community, and what they call it now with the local COP language, which is the just transition. You need it to be implemented, and then you can apply.
Balaji, if I may, بعد إذن حضرتك Dr. Balaji, do you see this standard or criteria or requirement for green and energy being requested by your company TriStar in the operations with the UN peacekeeping? Does it make a difference if you're greener, more technological, or not?
Oh, it does make a difference, and at the moment being related to UN and doing business with UN, we follow all the UN regulations. And apart from that, we have local regulations which put us into practice. Yeah? But as we move on, I think once COP is over this year, I am expecting a lot of regulations come into the green economy, because that is what we learn. Because if we have to move, like Doctor said, that we have to move and save the world in the future, then we'll have to have strong regulations, strong practice, and people should be, it's not that I should do things voluntarily to get things done. Because if we have to move to that level, then there are certain things which we have to do mandatorily, not voluntarily. Yeah? So when you call somebody for tree planting and we want to make this a green economy, you make it voluntary, I don't think a lot of people will come in. When you have a regulation which says, yes, we need to make sure, we need to get UAE to this level, I think that will help us as we move forward. So I am definitely of the opinion that as we move forward, we are expecting regulations to come into UAE, and that will help us move forward.
Okay. Doctor, have we succeeded to give people out, the youth from this part of the world, their fair share of voice? Those crazy technological app developers, greening technologies and innovations and so on, the people from our part of the world, and I'm sorry, I have to say our part of the world because we're very proud of being the second consecutive COP to be hosted in an Arab country. Have we been able to push them to the global scene to showcase their case studies, their projects, their innovations, or not yet enough?
Well, I think His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid said, we have to imagine, design, and execute. So what does that mean? In another sense, it means we walk the talk. We don't just imagine and design, but also we execute. So to walk the talk, we make sure that the youth are enabled. And youth in the country, they are enabled. Look at the 1 million programmers competition. Look at the global Mohammed bin Rashid global initiatives. Lots of youth have participated in this, one of the best initiatives in the world, because it takes care of poor societies and make them depend on themselves. They build schools, they build hospitals, they train the teachers, they give them books. They also help entrepreneurs to start their own companies. So they're trying to build their economies. And if you look at, even in World Green Economy Organization, the platform, we have academia and youth. And if you look at it, 5 of our ministers are youth, maybe 6, if I'm not sure. And one of the ministers was 21 when she was a minister. So we really empower and enable. It's very important to do both. Empowering is not enough. Empowering, enabling, giving the tools to make it happen. So we are in this, not only with youth, even the gender difference. We don't have that. Anybody gets a job, doesn't matter female or male, will get the job. So I'm going to back to that, yes. But I like to a little bit talk about the standards after I finish, is okay? Youth are the people should understand now what the future is coming for them or is waiting for them. If they know it, they will learn from today to make sure that it doesn't happen, that climate change in a negative sense. And we have done it, a lot of initiatives. We have so many hackathons. University of Dubai, we have the Green Tech Hackathon. Sorry, I've been announced it maybe coming 2 days with WGEO. That's mainly for the youth. We have Emirates Science Club, which I'm the chair of. We have all the youth coming in that, and they have done so excellent jobs in sustainability, in technology, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, in robotics. They've done so well that they've gone around the world and got gold medals from what's happening. So we are up to the level of the world. In this sense, I think not only us, all the world should look at the youth, because it's their future. We just help them, enable them, empower them to make it happen. And if we don't, we will never succeed to reach our goals, never. And they're so young, their hard disk is little, some empty places there in it. Our hard disk is full. We can't think like them. They can be innovative. We need to make sure that they participate in all these activities. We have many activities for the society. All the students go out, they do good deeds, they do everything for them to understand. They go in, clean the beaches. This is where you need to make sure that they understand when you tell them what it is. Now if I go to standards. We at the University of Dubai till now maybe 5 or 6 conferences I've done in the last this week and last week and next week. One of them is climate law and policy. It was yesterday. So we are make sure that the legal or the College of Law has a part in that greening endeavor, that greening actions. They need to look at the laws. If there are no laws, then there is no use to understand what you can do. I mean, law is like a compass that will make you go correctly, and it makes any organization sober, right? If you don't take off that policies, we're in big trouble. Extra to that, we have another conference called Green Tech, Sustainability and Net Zero Policy and Practices Symposium. Is organized by University of Dubai and IEEE, if you all know IEEE. IEEE is the largest professional organization in the world. They have more than 400,000, and all the standards of the world, the electricity comes from them. All of them. We invited the president of IEEE, I'm the chair here, honorary chair of UAE, to come here and be a part of that conference, which is Green Tech, Sustainability, Net Zero practices, policies and practices. We have to look at these. And IEEE, I think, has number 1 in the world, the number of standards they have. They are looking at all these kinds of greening in terms of energy, in terms of power, in terms of emissions, and they're looking at it, how we can standardize it. If you try to charge this, if there's no standard connector that will do it, then it's no use. You need to standardize. It's a must, otherwise you'll solve something and you have something you can't do it because there's nothing that standardizes that thing. So standardization is very important, the policies are very important.
Thank you very much. In my effort to try to bring us toward the conclusion or wrapping of this session, because I know we're already almost there, I will ask all of you the same question. If we want to drive the youth into the area of green and tech, what would be 2 or 3 priority area of focuses or strategy? Where do we start, Christopher?
Well, so we talked about the green skills. I like to emphasize it's a multidisciplinary approach. So it's not just knowing one thing, but it's actually understanding the triple bottom line, if you like. So understanding economics, understanding environmental, understanding people. So they need the skill set there, and understanding digital tools and technologies that can enable positive change, planet positive. So in order to drive these talents into contributing to the economy, they need to have assignments. That's the best way to learn after university. So we would, or even during university. So we would recommend that kind of an approach, or personally I would recommend that way of learning, and mentoring by others as well. I would say I'm somewhere in between being youth and senior, so I think I can speak a little bit both of the languages there. Yeah.
Okay. Raya.
Yeah, this is definitely very important, and we strongly believe that we need to educate, engage, and then empower. So I agree with Christopher that we need to give the proper knowledge for the youth. What is the climate change? What are the risks, opportunities? What are the required tools, skills? Then we need to engage them, and active engagement, which means we have to provide them with internships. Mentorship is definitely great. We also need to coach them. We need that theoretical frame to be put into action. Then we empower. Then they can lead the change, and maybe back what I started with, purpose. They have to live with purpose, lead with purpose, because if they don't know why we are doing this, there will not be any value of what they are doing. And back to the doctor point, love what you learn, which is the passion. So we need to bring passion and purpose to help them lead the future, because they will be living the change. Now we are trying only to help. So these are the...
Yeah.
I've always believed in the statement that what got you here will not get you there. So in case you want to move forward, the first thing starts in the family. So when you are growing up, we were all given opportunities to move forward in our life. Our parents never stopped us from doing what we wanted to do. So in future, if you have your children and you see somebody sitting on the gadget for such a long time, you need to understand what they're doing. Are they playing? Are they doing some research? Are they learning something? Virtual reality is something which will come into picture. So you need to look at what skills your child has and encourage that child to move forward. Similarly, in terms of education, when you move to universities, you need to have ample opportunities for them to actually see things practically, involve them into green technology, involve them into things which we do for the environment. So once they start living that life, then they will take this forward. And that's what I feel should be what we need to empower and also enable those children.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bastaki.
Well, I'll just give you a simple example of a stand-up comedian. He said, when I was young, my mother was telling me, eat, because there are other people hungry in the world. And he said, I kept eating, and I kept eating, and I kept eating. I became fatter and fatter and fatter. I don't know if now the poor people are rich or not. What does it mean? It's not to do something, but you make sure why you're doing it. The mother was not teaching the student, the son correctly. She should have said, eat as much as you can, don't waste, because this, if you waste, some other could eat. That would be the difference. You see, the word leadership is very important. I like to use the word leadership always. Doesn't mean leadership, a president or something. Any leader could be a committee leader, could be a class leader, whatever, it's a leader. There are some traits about a leader. We should instill those traits into the young, the youth. The first trait of a leader is to have a vision. You have to tell the youth, look ahead and see where you want to go. And then the leader should know how to reach the vision. And then we should make sure instill in them, you can reach that vision, not just looking at that vision. And third, you have to execute whatever you're doing. Operations, execute to do that vision. And then you have to be bold. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Rashid said, the risk is not to take the risk. And we say in general, you miss 100% of the shots you didn't take. So that's, the young should be bold, but correctly being risk. You calculate the risks, not just any risk. And then you have to be innovative. Innovative is a part of a human being as long as we give them the right environment. So yes, the youth should be innovative. And then the youth should always, the leaders empower, as we said, the youth should be empowered. The youth should be enabled, again, to give them the tools for that power they have, that they can do it. And then they should never contain their thoughts and the ideas within a box. Think out of the box, open your thinking. You can imagine things happening that could be impossible today, but tomorrow not. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Barashi already said, impossibility is not in my dictionary. And I agree 100%. There's nothing in the world called impossible. And the last but not the least, lead by example. So once we give these students to lead by example, if I tell my son don't lie, I shouldn't lie. If I lie and tell him not to lie, he or she will lie someday. I have 3 sons, that's what I'm saying, 3 sons, no daughters. So in a sense, you have to live as an example. But this is not my point now. I want to say something, I kept it for the last. University of Dubai. What is it about University of Dubai that I have to be proud of? It's the second university in the world that's net zero energy campus. This means that all electricity is by solar power. We have 2 megawatts of solar. We have extra energy. We feed it to the grid. At night, we take it back. What does it mean? We don't need batteries. Again, we are saving the world or saving the environment. Not only that, we don't use water to clean. We use dry cleaning by robots. So we are saving 134,000 liters per month. Not only that, we are also, it's also economically feasible. We were paying DIWA 1.2 million dirhams per year, and this cost us 6 million. After 5 years, there'll be no carbon footprint and no cost for the rest 25 years. Not only that, we're also producing 30% of water from condensation. We are very, very, very sensitive of anything got to do with greening. This is how University of Dubai is an example. Second in the world, first in the region. It's never happened as a university. So I think we need to take this as an example. To do what we want to do. It's not, we want to do, but you don't do it. You have to make sure that your actions are according to your hopes. Your hopes should be turned into actions. And University of Dubai is that there, and we are proud of it, to be the second in the world. And I think every entity can do it. And this is a part of the greening the environment and the economy and the society. Because other things are there, the wastage and you name it. Many other things are there. So all these we should take into consideration because our future kids or grandkids will be in trouble if we don't work from now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I think there is no better way to end this with this passion that you give us. I'll remind all of us of certain things that you all said. Standards are important. Youth, for the youth, by the youth, empower them. Be flexible. Coordination. What got you here will not necessarily get you there, but the best part is what you told us, Doctor. Learn to love. And I think we have to tell our youth to learn to love the environment and learn not to be afraid of green and not to be afraid of digital and take the fight full on. And I think they will get us somewhere one day. Thank you very much. I was very pleased to entertain and to moderate this panel, and I was very honored to be amongst you on this panel. Thank you very much. Good.